Good evening, sports family. Welcome to Second and Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We have another fun, packed show for you tonight. 3 guests joining me discussing everything from NCAA hoops to baseball to football and everything in between. Get your snacks, get your drinks, and saddle up. Second Scheming starts right now. And a good Tuesday evening to each and every one of you. Whether you're joining me live or on the replay, cannot thank you enough. You are tuned in to Second and Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hope your work week is off to a great start. I know mine is. It's been a good week so far. It's going to be even more fun this evening. Got 3 awesome guests joining us. Have a little bit of fun talking all things sports from sea to shining sea, and might even go a little bit across the pond tonight after what we saw this past weekend with the women's Euro. So we may even touch a little bit on that. But as I said, we'll talk some NCAA hoops. We'll throw in some WNBA probably as well. Racing, football, baseball, all of it, everything in between. If you're watching live, please comment. We definitely want to interact with each and every one of you. This makes the show even more fun. So before we meet our awesome guests, you know the drill. We got to give some love to our great sponsors. So Planet Jerky, briskets on a whole other planet, Vital Apparel. So let's hear from those sponsors real quick, and we'll dive into it on the other side. You have tuned in to Second Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
And welcome back. Thank you once again for tuning in. Very, very much appreciated. Always love getting the word in from our great sponsors. Before we meet our guests, if you would be so kind, I am also the Indiana Insider, as most of you know. So on X, you can follow the Insider page at IESR_Indiana. You can also follow my personal account at The Chill Mike. And if you're on TikTok, I'm also on TikTok as well. I'm at thechill.mike7. Love to interact with all of you. Got a few comments coming in, so we'll get to those here in a second. But let's bring our awesome guests in. Introduce them here one by one real quick. First and foremost, I had to bring this guy back on. We haven't done this in a hot minute. For those of you who remember my little show, Indie Sports Nation, back in the day, I had my Blue Stable contributor, Colts Insider, Zach, who always did some really good stuff for us. So let's welcome Zach back. Zach, what's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
Doing good, man. Thanks for making the time to come on this new format. I think you'll have some fun here.
Yeah, for sure.
So, real quick, where can we find you on socials?
At ZClemens12 on X, Twitter. Hoping to get some things out for the Blue Stable this season. Training camp just started, so everybody's getting hyped for football season.
That's right. That's right. Well, again, man, appreciate you joining. Our next guest is our New England Insider here at IE Sports Radio's. First time we get to do some interaction with him. I'm really excited for this. We got B Mad Dog.
Whoa!
What's going on?
Welcome, Big Mike. Welcome, everybody. My debut on Second and Scheming, the third episode. Can't beat that. I'm excited to take a part of this. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome aboard. Where can we find you on the socials, my friend?
Easily, since I'm your New England Insider, IESR_New England, and my personal BMA dog _617, like the area code. Can follow my crazy stuff, whether it's sports, wrestling. It's just a lot of laughs. That's what I try to do.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it, man. Well, thanks for coming on. And last but not least, he's going to drop out a little early tonight because he's got a show to do right after this. So you need to stay on IE Sports Radio for the Bullpen Bulletin. He also does the primetime preview, Primetime's Friday night. This guy's top notch. Go welcome in Ricky K. What's going on, my friend?
What is going on, guys? Happy to be here tonight.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on. So real quick before we get into the topics here, just for those who may be new or may have already forgotten because they've had too much to drink or whatnot,
Ooh.
we'll throw out some topics. These guys we're gonna get their feedback, and we're gonna have some fun with it. For example, they say something that I like and I think makes a ton of sense. They'll probably hear this. All right. Now, if not, if I just don't, if I think it's wrong, bad take, or I just don't like it or whatever. Here's the fun part about this. Anything they say can make perfect sense. And you know what? For example, Ricky K can make this awesome point about the Yankees. And I'm probably going to buzz it anyway. Just for fun. So that's kind of how this goes. We have a lot of fun with it. Looking forward to had some topics here with you guys. We got some guys already chiming in. So let's give some love to the fans or colleagues, I should say. Taryn checking in. You know, of course, Boss Man's always checking in. Larry, Taryn, appreciate you. And yes, we got some New England, we got some New York, we got the Midwest here. So
10 years ago, you guys could have really beefed with me.
Oh, man, we can still find ways to beef each other. I'm positive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, boys, so the first segment we'll kind of keep with the theme that I've been doing the past few weeks. A segment I like to call Take It or Break It. So I'm going to throw out a topic, a quote, idea, whatever it may be, and then you guys are either going to take it or break it. Give me a few points as to why. I'll kind of go around the room here, and we can do a little rebuttal or whatnot, and just have some fun with this one. So, first topic is going to be NCAA basketball. It came out this past week that they will announce later in the fall about a possible NCAA men's and women's tournament expansion. Now, you know, the NCAA is always full of just awesome ideas. Is this a great idea? Let's go with that. This is a great idea by the NCAA to expand both men's and women's tournaments Take it or break it. Zach, I'm going to start with you.
Break it, man. I mean, this is the most perfect tournament we have in sports. I mean, you're already talking about a tournament where you have to win 6 games to win it all. And if you're in the first 4, you might have to win 7 in a row. Like, this is perfect. It's exactly perfect where it sits. 68 teams is I mean, you can see it a little bit with the bubble, like that they kind of want to squeeze some more teams in, but I think 68 is perfect. I don't think we should move away from it. It's the NCAA tournament is the best thing we have in sports. In my opinion, I think it should stay.
Good stuff. Brian, what do you think?
I honestly believe I'm going to break it because it is wonderful the way it is. There's 16 and 4 brackets in the region. Everyone, whether it's the faraway Bailey D3 college or a powerhouse like Duke, North Carolina, and recently UConn's been until this year when they played the champion Florida Gators. You already have that opportunity with the first 4, the preliminaries, whether it's the 8 and 9 bubble teams or the small schools fighting for the 16 spot. Only like 4 times, I believe, a men's 16 seed has upset a number 1 seed. So if that was happening more often, maybe I could entertain the idea of taking it, but breaking it's the way to go. I do not support the expansion. It's wonderful the way it is. It rotates regions. Every region gets a chance to host at least 2 games. So people fly all over the place for it. So it's wonderful the way it is. I'm going to break it.
All right, Ricky, what do you think, man?
We're going to be consensus. Let's break it. Just because we like to eat candy doesn't mean we need to have more candy. Like, I don't need to have, like, the bubble is basically a bunch of major conferences anyway. So I have to add more teams because I need to see the 12th place team in the SEC get a bid. Let's just put the whole SEC in then for whatever, the Big Ten or whatever. Because if you're going to expand it, then let's get more mid-major bubble teams in the field because teams are afraid to play mid-majors anyway. So that creates a whole disparity. Like, we have to get to a point where eventually the first 4 is just major teams. Because I'm tired of keeping the little guy out, and the little guy can make a run. As much as sometimes my school, St. John's, might need the first 4, hopefully not anymore, Rick Pitino. But for right now, you don't need any more. The tournament is good as it is. It's just oversaturation, and it would really take away from Thursday and Friday being a thing. It would just be, all right, it's another round of basketball. We've already seen that with conference tournaments kind of fading away. We would see that with the tournament if they added more teams.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I 100% agree with you. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not broke. Don't fix it. It is still, I mean, just about everybody's favorite time of year when it comes to postseason anything outside of, maybe NFL playoffs. But no, there's nothing wrong with this system at all. They leave it alone. But I'll ask you a quick follow-up question, just quick answers real quick, and I'll go reverse order. Ricky, I'll go with you. Do you think they will expand it?
Yes, because like all of us, they love money. And they love games. The more money, the more games, the better. So to them, it's going to be, hey, let's add some more and let's get more Ernie and Chuck and Kenny and all these guys. But we don't need it, but they're going to do it anyway. It's the same thing with football. We don't need more teams. They're going to just add more teams anyway.
Yep. Brian, what do you think? They going to pull it off? They going to do it?
Unfortunately, I believe so. Just like they expanded the NFL and Major League Baseball. From the NFL, you had the first 2 teams get the bye. Now it's just 1 team in each conference getting the bye. Unless there's pullback from the powerhouses that I just mentioned of UConn, North Carolina, Duke, Florida, Michigan, Ohio State, then maybe they won't expand. But it all depends. That comes from the big guys because the new portal system where a lot of athletes went from not being allowed to make a cent to making potentially millions of dollars. They're going to want to keep paying those guys so they don't lose money. So that the one reason I think they're going to expand it.
Yep. And Zach, real quick, you think they expand it?
Yeah, they're exactly right. I mean, if there's money to be made, the NCAA is going to do it. And the only way you're getting it stopped is if the SEC says no. I mean, you got to get their love child to say no. So, yeah, they'll do it.
Yep, I agree. We're all consensus on that one. Quick bonus one, if I've taken a break it real quick, this will be a quick one. And Brian, I'll start with you. We had the women's Euro final this past weekend. The England coming off and they win it in PKs. So we'll throw this out there to you. England did not win this. Spain lost it. Take it or break it.
I'd have to say I'd have to say break it because England had a player that was going through a yeah, I guess you didn't like that answer.
I just got
It
it.
was estimated 22 million people from Europe watching this because it's a qualifier for the 2027 World Cup, and the next one's not until 2029. And we got the Men's World Cup taking place in the States and Canada a year from now, which will be very exciting, especially how the World Cup was very intense with Argentina. But England, it was a close game, typical low-scoring game in the game of soccer with a bunch of England people. They're very passionate about their sports when you watch international crowds. So I think I have to give them credit. I'd say England won it more than Spain blew it.
Okay. All right, Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree the same way. I think, once you especially get into a situation when you're kicking penalties, I mean, it's a clean slate, so both teams had an opportunity to take the game.
Yeah.
I think once you hit that clean slate, who can reset and refocus, and I think they did it. I mean, 3-1 had a couple really nice saves, so I think you got to give it to them. Credit where it's due.
Full disclosure, I was actually cheering for England, so I'll just throw that out there. But Ricky, what do you think?
All right, I hope we're not going to agree the entire show, but for the second straight take it or break it, I'm going to agree with the two gentlemen here and say break it, because I think you got to give England credit, not just for beating Spain, but for how England got here. Look at all three games in the knockout stage, going to PKs against Sweden, basically beating Italy on a controversial penalty late in extra time, but it looked like they were going to go to penalties again to then win penalties in the final. We don't usually see that. I know Spain had a tough semifinal with Germany, and they had their battles, but I think it's giving England a lot of credit. They had a lot of depth, and they had a lot of players come to the fold. They were nearly out against Italy. England scored with like the last minute of stoppage time. So props to the Brits. They got it done, and they're going to be a threat for sure. And I loved what Spain and England's become a rivalry. These two teams have played in nations tournaments and played some close ones. Rematch of the World Cup final a couple years ago. And it shouldn't surprise anybody if it's the matchup of the next Women's World Cup and Championship.
Good stuff, guys. I'm going to disagree with you guys on this one, and only solely for the fact. And I told you, disclosure, I was actually cheering for England. I just thought Spain left too many opportunities, and especially in that last probably 25 minutes of the second half. A lot of crossing opportunities. I felt they should have converted on, and they didn't. And then when you're missing those opportunities, you're leaving it to chance and PKs. But that's not taking anything away from England. I just thought Spain left some stuff out there. But hey, opinion, that is all good. But great stuff, guys. Appreciate the feedback on that one. The next segment is the 24-second shot clock. So this is essentially I throw something out here and get 24 seconds, right? So Ricky, I'll start with you on this one. And I feel bad about this a little bit because this is my third show doing this here, and I've been ripping on the WNBA the entire time, and I'm about to do it again. And I really don't want to do this. But last week, the WNBA fined Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham just $500. Yes, it was $500 for posting a TikTok with Sabrina Carpenter's hit Man-Child, and then does the @WNBA refs. So $500 fine. Ricky, what's your take on that?
So is this the equivalent of basically grounding your child for a day just because you could say you punished them or something like that? Look, Sophie Cunningham has done some crazy things. I love that she's kind of the enforcer of the Fever. WNBA could use some enforcers, and she's been definitely that. But $500, I mean, I get the contracts aren't big, but this is the equivalent of like sending your child for no dinner for the evening. So I don't get it, but I get it. It's very weird.
Yeah, what are we doing here, Zach? I mean, let's get some Midwest flavor on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think instead of worrying about what she's posting on TikTok, maybe we worry about the officiating. You got the game's biggest stars complaining about the officiating. I mean, all eyes are on Indiana Fever, and you see it. Everybody sees it, even the outside fans. I mean, you have Paige Beckers who's also complaining about it. I mean, fix the officiating. Don't worry about what's posted on TikTok.
Well, real quick, Brian, I'll get to you. Everybody's criticizing him. Even Adam Silver's come out and said, "Yeah, this is not good." So you've got everybody and their brother out there ripping these guys. So anyway, Brian, what do you got?
Oh my God, are we going to complete the trifecta of all agreeing on something? I'd have to agree. It is pretty stupid because Sophia Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, they were in Boston a few weeks ago. They ended up beating, even though the Sun gave them a huge fight. It was a big deal. You had Jaylen Brown in the stands. You had a couple Bruins, some Patriots, but they don't get paid a lot. So 500 probably is a lot of money, but whatever she does, it is pretty funny just targeting the refs because we've had some terrible officiating in the world of football the past 2 years. I know Chiefs fans are going to disagree with us, but I believe the WNBA people are really bad too. You see Caitlin Clark and Cunningham, you guys are big Fever fans, getting attacked by the likes of Angel Reese. So I've been seeing some highlights all over Sports Center and social media, and they don't seem to call that. So I don't blame her for doing it. She sticks up for a lot of her teammates. So I'm going to have to say it was pretty stupid, but that's my opinion.
Yep, I think we're all in consensus there. I'm going to do another bonus one on the shot clock as well, even though this isn't basketball, but I just want a quick take on this. We all saw what Nick Kurtz did last week for the Oakland Athletics, 6 for 6. 4 home runs, almost a fifth, 8 ribbies. I know we're all baseball fans on here, so real quick, Brian, I'll start. We'll kind of go reverse order here. Brian, what just quick thought on that and just your impressions.
Oh, wow. I'm sure all 10 people that were attending the A's games in Oakland are sitting and stunned right now that used to attend. Because how do you think – you don't even get that from Aaron Judge and Ohtani, but –
It was 8, guys, by the way, but go ahead.
But 1, 2, 3, 4 home runs by an A's player who doesn't even know what city they represent until they get to Vegas. I saw right where they're going to build it, so it's going to be very nice, looking like the Opera Hall in Australia. But he should probably save those home runs for 2 years because I don't think anyone cares about the A's right now since they lost a lot of their fans. But anyways, they're competing with the Rockies and the White Sox for the bottom of the historic decade of baseball.
Yep.
That was pretty amazing by Kurtz, though. I'm not gonna lie.
It was. And Ricky may get into this in his show later on. But Ricky, what did you think about that? I thought it was pretty damn impressive.
Probably one of the greatest games we've ever seen from a Major League Baseball player because you think about it, like you said, he was so close to a 5th home run. And this is a player that went from like plus 300 to Rookie of the Year to probably being the favorite, and he should be. I mean, you think about how quick he's risen up, and it also goes to show you when we look at the draft, and sometimes we look at the baseball draft and like these guys won't get here for 6 years. These guys are coming, and they're coming quick, and they're ready to play. So when, yes, the A's are bad. Yes, we don't know where the A's are going to play, but you look at guys like Kurtz and Lawrence Butler and Mason Miller, if they keep him around, there's at least something. And I don't want to hear about a cap. I don't want to hear about all that stuff. John Fisher, spend money, put product on the field that people will be proud of. Because the A's at least have some good young players, and Kurtz is one of those guys that at least people will pay to see. Find a way to keep these guys. They've kept Butler long-term. Find a way to keep Kurtz long-term as well.
Yep, agreed. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the greatest hitting performance I've seen. I can't think of a better one. So it only makes sense that, he was picked 2 spots after the Reds picked because that's just poetic justice and everything for Cincinnati. So
right.
I was kind of expecting it,
Yeah, fair enough. Speaking of baseball, rest in peace, Ryan Sandberg. By the way, I saw some highlights of him coming up on my feed today from the battles against the Cardinals back in the '80s and whatnot. It was just hated to see that. It's been a rough week for us folk who grew up in the '80s. Mm-hmm. But so we'll move on from there. One more segment here before we get into our last break, rather. This is what I like to call Stock Watch. So we'll talk about, I want to get player to team that you see their stock is rising, and then one where you see their stock is going the wrong direction. So Zach, let me start with you. Give me team player on the incline and then on the decline.
Yeah, well, naturally, I was going to go Reds here, kind of in a tough series right now with the Dodgers. But, I mean, before coming into the series, winning 10 of 14, getting within a half game of that wild card spot, that would kind of give us reason to think, oh, it's time to sell because that's just natural Reds thinking. But yeah, I think the team's coming along. Ellie's been hot, so it's good to see, obviously, your star get in that groove and get everything going again. And so I'm hoping they'll ride this out and be buyers at the deadline, but we'll see, because we know how Cincinnati operates.
Yeah, you can't really hold your breath when it comes to the Reds in that regard. you just can't. Ricky, somebody, team player, it's on the rise.
Stock up for me is the Texas Rangers. You think about the Rangers, and this is a team that, of course, a couple years ago, winning the World Series,
Right.
and they were a team that looked like they were going to sell for a little bit. And I know Ken Rosenthal wrote today that they're still not sure what they're going to do, but they're only 4 games out of the West. And you look at the wild card right now, they're a half game out of a playoff spot. And Texas has one of the best rotation ERAs in baseball. I know Jacob deGrom struggled a little bit yesterday, but when you have the rotation they have, deGrom, Eovaldi, they have a way to get it done. Texas just needs to find some offense. But even though the Astros have battled, let's remember the Astros have 18 players on the injured list. How much are they going to get back? Seattle, I know, has Cal Raleigh, but what are the Mariners going to do between now and Thursday? If Texas can find a way to make a deal, the Rangers could all of a sudden be a sneaky playoff team.
Before I get to Brian, we said, what was that comment there? I just had it up here. Oh, yeah, our boy Josh on the Reds still a team. So let me just
barely
one of those. They're ridiculous. Brian, give me who's stock rising? Who you got?
For stock rising, I know they lost 2 games in a row, which is rare for me to say this, but right when we think my division is about Red Sox and Yankees, Ricky can agree, but the Toronto Blue Jays have creeped all the way up when they started off so slow. Obviously, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s proven his contract, getting with the lights of Mike Trout, Ohtani, and Judge, but you also got Statander from the team who's currently in the bottom for nothing, the Baltimore Orioles, which is really helping their bats make a huge difference for the Toronto Blue Jays. I have to say the Blue Jays because they're currently leading the American League East and 6 games ahead of my Sox and the Yankees. So that's a hot team that's on the rise.
I agree with you on that. I'll throw a few here before we get to the decline. I've still got the Brewers as one. They've been playing some really good baseballs of late, and just when people, I don't think baseball fans really wrote them off because they're consistently good every year. But this year they just kind of crept up, and here they are, challenging yet for another division. So, and then I'll throw a little racing in here. I'm gonna go McLaren for F1. I mean, they're just finally clicking, and it's good to see those guys between Lando and Oscar. Those guys they're just crushing it this year. So got to show them some love there. So all right, Zach, decline. Who are you souring on?
I hate to do it to our boy George, but the Rays. I thought that they were maybe positioning themselves to kind of battle for that last wild card spot, and then that series with the Reds really kind of just showed us that they're in a real slump right now. And I hope things get better for our boy, but it looks like they might be sellers at the deadline. I know he's used to that, but
right.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over there.
Yep. Ricky, who's on the decline?
So I'll give you a team and I'll give you a person.
Yep.
Team, I think, to me, is the Guardians because it's really interesting to see, and I don't know what MLB is going to figure out, but 2 pitchers allegedly gambling.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, what the team knows, what they don't know, because 1 is I can get, 2, not so sure. And the closer, who's one of the best in the game, that's a tricky one. But my real down, Rob Manfred. What are you doing going in the Philly locker room and trying to tell people that a salary cap is talk about how good this thing is? And Bryce Harper basically tells you to go bleep off in the clubhouse. Good on Bryce. Because I know Adam Karnick and I have been talking about this, writing a piece on the blog, and hope that'll be up soon. Salary cap to me is a joke because we already have a cap called the tax. You know what's good with a cap? Teams spending money. I talked about it earlier. Get these small market teams to spend money. It's not that the Dodgers get everybody. It's that nobody else tries to get these players. So it doesn't make it that the middle class players get more money. It just means they're going to get squeezed and going to get squeezed even more because these small market teams are just going to pay people to get to the minimum. And to me, that's a joke. So good on Bryce Harper. Rob Manfred be better.
Well, we're going to touch on that after the break. So I'm glad that's a great segue. I'm glad you brought that up. Brian, wrap it up with you, my man.
So a team that is on the decline is the San Francisco Giants. They just won 2 in a row. They were gonna look like they were gonna overtake the powerhouse of the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they got the Dodgers and Padres are almost tied for the NL West, with the Dodgers up a little, but the Giants have fallen apart. Verlander should just retire. He's had a wonderful career dating back for the past 10 years, and you've got Rafael Devers, a guy I'd known about who hasn't done well at all. He hit a home run 3 games ago, I'll give him that, but he's proven why we traded him at all. And they got Tanner Hudson, who's been a good pitcher, but the Giants are just declining big time.
Yeah, that's a good point. Hard to disagree with you on that. Taryn chimed in real quick about teams talking on the rise. The Italy's women's national volleyball team, a perfect 15-0. Yeah, that's I don't think you can rise much higher than that. So thanks for checking in, bringing that up, Taryn. That's awesome. Mine, just real quick, I had keep the WNBA here, the Chicago Sky. They got injuries as well, but just yikes. The Detroit Tigers, they got a big lead in that division because that division's what it is. I just don't love how I've seen them play as of late. The thing is, they still have a cushion; they could turn that around, I'm sure. But then, foot player, yeah, Ricky brought it up. It's Clase from the Guardians. I mean, yikes. Not looking too good for him. So, but on that note, gents, well, we will get our break in here. Got a few more segments on the other side. So, guys, appreciate you joining. I hope it's not been too boring for you just yet.
No.
All right. Break time. We'll come back on the other side. Everybody is second scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Second and Scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll get our insiders back in here. Before we move on, a few comments came in over the break. I thought I'd share these real quick. Taryn chiming in, stock on the decline, the Cleveland Browns, and that's just...
Yeah, the Browns, what do you expect?
I think they're already eliminated from the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And Larry's still chiming in, saying he's loving the show. Larry, we appreciate you, buddy. All right, so the next segment here, and I'm gonna let Ricky start with this because we kind of got into it, but is actually one of my favorites: clutch or cringe. So this is one of those events, quotes, whatever it may be that's happened where you're like, oh, that was clutch, or dude, what are we doing? So here we go. Bryce Harper cussing out Rob Manfred. And we'll let Ricky kind of keep going from what he was saying earlier, man, and just go.
To me, that's clutch because Bryce Harper knows firsthand, because think about it this way. He had to take a 13-year deal from the Phillies in order to maximize the average annual value, which essentially what these teams do is now stretching out AAVs because they're trying to fit a first luxury tax, or was the Steve Cohen tax, because baseball is mad the Mets want to spend money. So let's create a tax for them. Let's create a tax for the Dodgers. Let's create a tax for the Yankees. So we got Rob Manfred trying to basically push the agenda for the owners, and that's talking about, hey, there's benefits to this. If you do this, the mid-tier player is going to get more money. And if they dig their heels in and try to get a cap, we're not going to have baseball past next year, period. Because I don't think the players want it. I mean, I'm not convinced the fans want it. You know what the fans want? Their teams spend money. The teams open up the checkbook, because the revenue teams that are getting the sharing are not spending the money. The Marlins aren't spending. The Brewers, who are in first place, made only one legitimate free agent signing over the winter. That was in March, and that was Jose Quintana. That is not acceptable. You have situations in basketball where teams spend money all the time, and they spend on free agents, and we cringe at $100 million contracts. To me, this is a good job on Bryce Harper. This is a good job on the Stars protecting the sport, and I don't think we will ever see a cap in the sport, and if we even think about a cap, there will be no baseball, and the sport will be ruined as we know it.
Good stuff, Ricky. Zach, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I agree with everything Ricky said. I mean, as a Cincinnati fan, we see it all the time. It seems like every budding superstar that comes through is just on their way to LA or New York in a few years. And it's just, you've got to, I mean, they know what the landscape is in baseball. And if you're just flat out refusing to compete, then it's an ownership and a GM thing. It's not a cap thing. So, I mean, the opportunity's out there, and teams just aren't taking advantage of it, I feel like.
I agree with you guys. I think one other team I comes to the top of my head, too, is the Pirates. You got somebody like Paul Skeens, who is just ridiculous. And, all right, he'll be in New York or L.A. or wherever in a few years. And you got, if you follow the Pirates at all, there's Bubba Chandler here at AAA in Indianapolis, he's also very damn good. And at some point, he'll get called up, and he'll probably have the same fate. So, anyway, Brian, what do you think, man?
I think it's clutch because it's good for him to stand up for baseball, because, believe it or not, they're gaining a lot of fans with this new pitch clock idea. I think it's working wonders, because even though we all love sports, we're an IE Sports Radio for a reason, but him cussing out at Manfred is really good, because you got a lot of teams don't spending money. I'm a Red Sox fan. Henry didn't open up his wallet for 4 years. He let Mookie Betts go, Xander Bogaerts. But Bryce Harper has a right to be all pissed off, because they need a salary cap, and they need teams to start spending money, because you got teams like the Rays who don't draw anybody, and the A's were before they moved, but the Red Sox always sell out, and they finally spend money. If they're going to be revenue share to punish like the Dodgers and the Yankees for spending a lot of money, well, and the Mets for taking Juan Soto to go down the street, as you know, Ricky, because I don't blame Bryce Harper. I'm going to go clutch, but he did get a huge favor from the umpires a week ago in the catcher's interference with a nose. So he shouldn't complain that much, I guess, but he has a right, because MLB's close to having their collective bargaining agreement expire, and the players don't feel like they're getting paid, because guys in lower markets won't pay them big deals. Guys will just walk to the next big market team who spends the money. And it's been like that for 20 years in baseball. And the guys develop farm teams like the Orioles. They can't afford to keep all these good players. Look at Santander. He's gone. He's gone. So I'll have to go clutch for Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I'm going clutch as well because anybody who cusses out Rob Manfred is a friend of mine. That's the way I look at it. So, so it's clutch for me all the way. It is what it is. Good on Harper. I think we're in consensus there. So since we got some Northeastern guys on here, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun with story time here. So we'll build a little story from this. And Brian, I'll start with you. What happens? You could say if or when the Red Sox do absolutely nothing between now and the deadline, and then just peter out the rest of the way. What happens?
It depends what team shows up, because the Red Sox are not going to have to play the Nationals and Rockies all the time like they did right before the All-Star break. They do. Marcelo Meyer is on the injured reserve list right now, so he'll take at least a few weeks. Roman Anthony's been getting a good on-space percentage, but the real question is the big X factor on this team. He hit a home run tonight. If Trevor Story goes a run where he makes a ton of infield errors and goes 0 for 4 in a bunch of games, the Sox go on a losing streak. He hits doubles, he hits homers, they go on a winning streak. So it's kind of weird how one player that they got depends on it, but having Bregman back is huge, and the team is a lot better without Devers' locker room drama, in my opinion. As long as Crochet stays red hot, he's the leading guy in strikeouts right now, but they have to add another starting pitcher because Richard Fitz ain't it. He's terrible. Tanner Hope is going to be a reliever when he comes back. He can't pitch as well as he did 2 years ago, so we need another guy to join. Bueller's on and off, so Giolito's been outstanding. Hunter Dobbins is a big loss, so they need one starting pitcher to try to trade for. I wouldn't give up Campbell, Anthony, or Meyer, any of their big prospects, though, but that's my opinion.
Sure. Ricky, what happens if the Yankees don't get anything done?
The Yankees don't get anything done, they'll still make the playoffs, and the only reason they'll still make the playoffs is the American League is terrible. Because you think of it this way, we just talked about it. Texas is a half game out of a playoff spot. If you look at the wild card right now, Tampa Bay, who we just talked about a little while ago, is a game more 500 and 2.5 back. So if you leave Rays have staying power, the Yankees, I think they won't do anything significant. Like, I don't think they're going to go out and get a Sandy Alcantara or anything like that. I think they'll make moves because they need relievers, period. Doesn't matter who they are. Their bullpen is shelved itself outside of Weaver and Williams. Starting pitching, they need another guy. Aaron Judge, luckily, hopefully, will be back at least hitting in the next week to 10 days, which I think is a great thing. Because they didn't have Judge, I would consider trading the free agents to be and moving on and just saying, you know what, it is what it is. But the Yankees have their issues. It's clear. And their shortstop making another error tonight, 14, and you get Amed Rosario. It's time for Anthony Volpe to sit. I wish the Yankees were accountable, but we don't know who's in charge. Aaron Boone or is at the front office? Because I always said on my show, Aaron is the manager that takes you out to ice cream in Little League when you lose. I don't see the accountability and I'm not looking for you to rip, but something's got to change and nothing does. But maybe that's just this era of sports we're in where we take the team out for pizza even when they make 5 errors and they lose 15-1. I don't know what it is. But Yankees will make it because the American League isn't good.
Yep. Zach, I'm going to have you chime in on the Yankees-Red Sox deal, but I know you'll probably want to say a little something about the Reds too, so go for it.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Sox and the Yankees, I mean, I've seen it my entire life. They'll be okay. They'll still be in a good spot, and, for years to come, they'll be all right. But as far as the Reds go, I mean, if they don't do anything, I mean, you see it every single year. Sputter out. Meaningful baseball leaves in August. Great American Ballpark isn't filled unless it's $3 beer day and $2 hot dog day. And
Facts.
You'll kill for that way.
you'll have nobody in the stands, and I mean, meaningful baseball will be gone. And do you even bring Hunter Green back? I mean, I see his rehab assignment started in Louisville or for Louisville. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously we all want them to be buyers. All Reds fans do, but we know how it goes. So, same old story.
Yep. Yeah, I think Yankees will end up doing something. Something. I mean, we'll see what it is.
Money.
Reds probably won't. We'll see what the Red Sox. Mariners made a move for Naylor. We'll see if that, they do anything else on top of that. So trade deadline's always a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to see what happens here. So I want to get to this segment next. I know Ricky's got to jump here shortly to get to his show that starts here shortly around 9:00 Eastern. So, but I wanted to give weekend ripple effect. So, and Ricky, I'll start with you since you got to bounce here shortly. Anything in your eyes or your mind from the weekend that you saw, whatever sport, NFL, MLB, whatever it may be, that has set a player or team in motion for maybe great success going forward, or maybe they just shot themselves in the foot going forward?
So I would say all right. So let's do a little NASCAR. Bubba Wallace winning at the Brickyard, especially for a guy that was on the bubble for the postseason. There's only I think 5 races left until NASCAR's playoffs. So to get a significant win for him, and that's really an iconic win on an iconic racetrack. Somewhat we followed Bubba Wallace's career for the last couple of years, looking for that big win. Everyone looking like Daytona, things like that. But to get a win in Indianapolis, I'll give him credit for that. So good job by Bubba Wallace. The other negative ripple effect I would say is the whole Messi situation, not deciding to play in the All-Star game. And I don't blame MLS because Messi could have at least just showed up. I think if Messi showed up to the game and didn't play, I think MLS wouldn't have cared. And it's a bad look, I think, also for Messi to do that on a nationally televised game that he missed. Because Fox isn't happy about that. FS1's unhappy about that. And Messi owns part of Apple. So essentially, I did not like the way he handled it. I hate the rule that you have to participate to play. NHL does it. But Messi, at the same time, has got to realize, yes, I know it's a home game. It's not like he missed an away game, which I think would have been worse for the league. But I missed a nationally televised game because you just don't want to show up to the All-Star game. Was ridiculous.
Yep. Agreed. Good stuff. Brian, what do you think?
I think weekend ripple effect, and it's going to make a huge difference to make them buyers and sellers. I'm going to be biased. I'm going to go with the Red Sox taking 2 out of 3 from the defending World Champion Dodgers. That's a great one. What are you talking about? Crochet pitched phenomenal to get them the win. Story came up through, and Ohtani did return to pitch on Sunday, but it was good. The Red Sox did lose their first game. We got 5-2, was declining, but it's going to make them buyers in the deadline since they can beat guys like Dodgers. They lost 2 out of 3 from the best of the NL Central and East with the Phillies and the Cubs. So in the negative part, I'm going to go with Ricky with Messi because he's a big reason why people tune into MLS because, as we know, sorry to all my soccer fans here, but it doesn't get as much publicity like the Big Four does in the NHL, NBA, MLB, and NFL. And part of the reason why people watch, I know people that have Revolution season tickets. Everyone went on a Wednesday night to see Messi and his team in a Miami FC. But for him to think that the only reason guys like Beckham in the past and Messi will go to the MLS is clubs will pay a lot of their money because a lot of these owners have owners in other sports teams as well. Robert Kraft is one of them. And that's the reason why, because MLS doesn't have a big TV revenue like the European soccer leagues or the Spanish soccer leagues. More people are in the women's Euros than they are the NWSL and the MLS. For him not playing, I don't blame him for suspending him for not wanting to play in the All-Star game. But the only negative to what I think is that guys in the NFL don't want to play in the Pro Bowl, and people in the MLB, if they're injured, like Crochet didn't want to play in the All-Star game, so they didn't get punished either. But I don't blame MLS on their end because they want athletes to look up to Messi so guys can try and get exposure and more ratings for the MLS, even though most of their games are exclusive on Apple. You have to have streaming services to watch them.
Right. Zach, what do you think? What's your weekend ripple effect?
Yeah, I'm going to switch sports a little bit here. I think I'm going to go with the Fever. I think Kelsey Mitchell showed she's a first team all WNBA guard. So you're looking at a team that is finding out hey, there's a ton of talent. Stephanie White's kind of helping run that ship. I think they found something in Michaela Timpson. I think she's a very good young talent. And I mean, you're talking about maybe your best players on the bench currently hurt. So I mean, if you can continue to win without Caitlin and Caitlin can really nurse that injury and get back, I mean, who's to say they can't make some noise in the playoffs this year? Not just make it there, actually, win a series, maybe make a little noise. I mean, things are looking good. I mean, I know, it was the Sky. I get it. Injured Sky, but like that game it looked good. It looked like they were gonna, fall down and take a bad loss, but they fought, and then Kelsey Mitchell really led the ship. And I think you've got so much talent in that backcourt, and now you're finding, Michaela Timpson might be an asset in the front. So I think that team can really make some noise if they can get healthy.
I agree. I'll give you mine real quick, and I know we got to let Ricky run here, but I'll say IndyCar, Alex Palou just continuing to cement his legacy. He very well could be he's got 8 wins. It's ridiculous. And he's just continuing to show that he's very well may end up being the GOAT by the end of it. We'll see where it goes. And Ricky's had to jump off here. So have a great show, Ricky. Appreciate you coming on. I saw this news over the weekend, and I will pose a question to y'all on this one. And Zach, I'll start with you. Cortland Sutton got his deal done with the Broncos. They kind of moved some things around for Baker Mayfield there in Tampa. Is this moves like this? Can this poise these two teams to make, to maybe surprise some people and make a decent run? Maybe Tampa, that division is what it is, but could something like Denver they were close last year? Could something like this is kind of do something to the point where I could kind of bring that team together and they could kind of surprise some people this year? What do you think?
Yeah, so that defense is loaded. I mean,
yes.
The only questions you have are on the offense. And the only thing that worries me with that team is Bo Nix. Obviously had a great rookie year. Like, can't take that away from him. He played well. But do we see kind of like the CJ, like Stroud sophomore slump out of him? What are we going to see from Bo Nix? Because he's an older quarterback. So, he is not a finished product, but he's a close to finished product. So all the questions are on the offense, but I love the team-friendly deal. Like, Cortland feels he got paid, but also you still have enough room to make some other moves. So, I mean,
right.
You never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to ask out, you still got Trey Hendrickson out on the market, like, looking for a new deal if he can't work out anything. And they might be able to wiggle some room, get some more vets in there. And who knows what could happen. They're in a tough division. Still got the Chargers. You got to play with the Chiefs. Not sure what the Raiders are going to look like, but Tampa, I think you can definitely count on them to make some noise. I'm a big Baker fan, so I think that team goes. And Mike Evans is a stud. You're never going to stop him from getting 1,000 yards. He'll do it every year.
Yeah, he does. Like clockwork, man. And Larry B was chiming in here earlier. The boss man, and I'm just going to go ahead and repeat what he said. The Raiders were eliminated from the playoffs during OTAs.
Week 1, so I'm kind of hoping that's the case.
Give Genty 40 carries. I don't know.
Right. Exactly right. Brian, what do you think? Could those moves that Tampa and Denver did, could that ripple into something to get them to traject this season?
First, I'm going to start with Tampa Bay. Ever since Brady retired, he's won Super Bowls. There's still Chris Godwin and Mike Evans on the roster. But Baker Mayfield, you got to give this guy a lot of credit. I know it's the NFC South, one of the worst divisions in football. Carolina might be better. The Saints are going to tank. And the Falcons should be on the rise with Penix. And they got Bijan, who's a stud. But Kyle Pitts, everyone thinks he's going to break out. He never does. But I don't blame him for giving the Mayfield deal because he's won the division 2 years in a row and made the playoffs, which is amazing. A lot of the surprise last year of how good Bucky Irving extended, which they thought it was Rashid's white team to run. But as long as if Godwin stays healthy, this could benefit Mayfield. They also drafted Mbuka too in the draft, who Baker Mayfield is very high. Maybe he'll get into targets if Mike Evans can still prove he's in his prime. This team should be really good. But the Broncos, I do not like that Cortland Sutton deal. Granted, he has some. He hasn't stayed healthy. Plus, it's the AFC West. They got the Chargers who love to run, but I think they're trying to replicate Harbaugh. That both those Chargers and Broncos drafted rookie running backs, Hampton for the Chargers, and R.J. Harvey, and they signed J.K. Dobbins, who did really well for the Chargers last year. They could have a run committee and So they might not have to rely on Bo Nix in case he does have a sophomore slump. But Jerry Jeudy obviously left a few years ago to the Browns. He did well when he was healthy. But Sutton's a great receiver, but I don't think he's on the likes of like Jefferson, Chase, CeeDee Lamb, all those guys that are supposed to take off. Heck, I think Diggs, we got him for not a lot, and I think he'd be more worth the money, but he has to prove it this year with Drake May. Be interesting to see how these second-year quarterbacks are going to work, whether it's Caleb Williams supposed to rise up, because Jaden Daniels, a sophomore slump, has to be somewhat expected. I think he overachieved last year, and May could have a slump. He could be a lot better. He's got not a joke of a coaching staff this time and a good offensive line, but Denver really needs that offensive line. Even though they have Patrick Surtain that can get through the quarterbacks and running backs, no problem. He's still got to play Patrick Mahomes twice, and you got to play the Chargers twice. And they used to lose to the Raiders every year till last year, so they got a lot to prove. Even though they made the playoffs, Nick's had a great year, better than expected, but he was one of those older sophomore QBs,
right?
So I think the Sutton deal was way too much money. That's me.
Oh, hey, that's all right. We had to disagree at some point. We've been pretty much in agreement pretty much the entire show, so we had to have a little bit there, but that is good. That's good. All right, we're about to wrap here, but I got a few more quick segments to do. Just some weekend hot takes. Zach, we'll start with you, man. Just outside of the Kelsey Mitchell, which is a great point. Anything from the weekend? Any hot takes that you got for us?
Maybe the Reds and the Rays series. I mean, I think that decided who became a seller and who became a buyer. So I'm hoping the effect is that the Reds buy and maybe the Rays don't. And I think those are two teams that were stuck kind of in that 500 mark. So I'm hoping we make that push. I would love to see it. I want to see meaningful baseball in August in Cincy. That's it.
You know what? Us in the Midwest, that's what we want to. We want to see the same thing. I mean, in a perfect world, you'll see it in Chicago, see it in Cincy, and it'll be great.
Yep.
But I'll give you mine real quick, then I'll go back to Brian here. I would say mine was – I don't know if it's really a hot take. I would just kind of throw it in as the best moment. I mean, Bubba Wallace winning the Brickyard 400, the first first black man to do that at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was really – what was crazy about it is – he said some things in his past few seasons that's kind of made him a little controversial. It kind of is a head scratcher to me, but whatever. I don't recall the last time I saw somebody come out for driver introductions getting booed. And then when he takes a checkered flag, everybody's on their feet cheering like crazy. I mean, he went from like the WWE villain to the baby face in a matter of 3 hours. It was something to see, but that's good for him. That's a historical win. That was a huge deal coming out of the weekend. What do you got, Brian?
All right. This is a big weekend where I know guys at IE Sports Radio love their auto racing. You do too, Big Mike. You got baseball and auto racing combined with the Braves and the Reds, who the Braves started off really terrible this year before Acuna Jr. came back from his injury. So it's national. No there's 3 games on Fox on Saturday. But you got Ellie La Cruz and the Reds. These guys have to prove it might bring life into these two teams to try and compete for a playoff spot. Kind of like what the NHL did with Winter Classic or NBA with their international games. This is a grind opportunity to make auto racing and baseball combine. That's my hot take. And you got football starting pretty soon with the Hall of Fame game, the Chargers and the Lions. Obviously, the starters like Amon-Ra, Sonic, and Knuckles aren't going to get in, but you may see Justin Herbert. I don't think he'll play much, but it's just good to see football back. You got the Terry McLaurin situation to watch in Washington, because if he's able to come back, maybe they'll work on a deal. If he's not participating, it may lower the chances. It depends, because CeeDee Lamb and Chase held out last year, and they were able to have great seat. Maybe not so much Lamb, but Jamar Chase had a phenomenal Triple Crown season. So it's interesting to watch players like that want new contracts. That's my hot take for the weekend.
There we go. Well, gentlemen, last segment. This is one we won't banter too much on it. We're coming up on the hour anyway, but we'll go in reverse order. So, Brian, we'll start with you. I need a mic drop moment. So this is where you're going to say something that you say whatever the heck it is, man, about whatever team, whatever player you want. And then that's your mic drop. That's it. That's it. What you got?
All right, everybody. Be Mad Dog here, your New England insider. Red Sox, why did you blow that game last night? The rain delay made too much of a factor that you gave up a clutch home run in the bottom of the ninth. Keep on. Try to win. You got Bregman. You got to have a good game against your former team, the Houston Astros, under a lot of controversy the past 5 years. Coming to the Green Monster in Fenway. You got the NL West combined. You took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. Get the 2 out of 3 from the Astros. And come on, Bregman, hit a home run there. And you got training camp coming, baby. NFL starts Thursday. Let's go. We're almost ready for football. Woo!
Love it. Yes, beat the Astros, please. I need that as a Mariners fan. Zach, give me your mic drop, baby.
All right, we're early into training camp, but the pads went on this week, and Anthony Richardson put together 2 amazing days at quarterback. He's going to end this quarterback battle with Daniel Jones early in the preseason, and he's going to lead this Colts team to an AFC South championship.
Let's go.
And they're going to host a playoff game in Lucas Oil. We are going to host a playoff game.
There we go. I like the sound of that. All right, that is hey, both good moments. I'm actually gonna be cheering for the Red Sox. I need you to beat the Astros, man. I need that. And of course, I'm always be cheering for my Colts. No doubt about that. It was great.
A lot of suffering with both our star players getting torn Achilles during the playoffs.
Yeah. Right.
Relate to that.
It's awful, but here we are. And with that, we're gonna do our little outro here. But I'm gonna go with my mic drop. Zach, you mentioned the fever. They're learning to play without Caitlin. She'll come back at the right time, start facilitating, orchestrate, just like our boy Halliburton did. And they're going to get that. She'll come back at the right time. They're going to hit the stride at the right time. We're going to see this team in the WNBA Finals. There we go. There's my mic drop. Guys, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for taking the time. We'll do this again soon. Got a big shout out to Ricky K, who's starting on the Bolton right now. Thank you to him for joining us. And we will see y'all next week. Big Mike here, signing off for Brian and Zach. Second scheming right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Have a great night, everybody.